Ghosting. It's the ultimate dating curveball. One moment, everything seems fine, and the next, she's gone silent without warning. But here's the secret. When a woman ghosts, she's not always disappearing for good. More often than not, she's hoping you'll respond in a specific way. In this video, we're pulling back the curtain on her true intentions. By the end, you'll understand exactly what she's hoping for and how you can turn the tables in your favor. Forget confusion or frustration. This is your insider guide to staying in control, maintaining your power, and making her rethink her decision to ghost you. 1. She's hoping you'll chase her. Here's the thing about ghosting. It's often a game of cat and mouse. By disappearing, she creates a void, and deep down, she's curious if you'll fill it by chasing her. For some women, this is a way to test your persistence or measure how much you value the connection. She might even view it as a subtle power move. If you run after her, she holds all the cards, but chasing her can backfire. The more effort you put into chasing someone who's pulled away, the more you validate her decision to ghost in the first place. If she's hoping you'll chase, don't give her that satisfaction. Instead, let her feel the absence. A man who doesn't pursue projects, strength, confidence, and self-worth. And trust me, that's far more attractive than desperate text messages or long-winded pleas for her attention. 2. She's hoping you'll beg for answers. Ghosting is often a way of avoiding confrontation. Rather than explaining her feelings or lack of interest, she opts for silence. Why? Because it's easier for her. And in that silence, she's hoping you'll do the heavy lifting by asking, "Why did you ghost me?" Or "What happened?" Don't fall for it. Begging for answers doesn't just hand her the emotional upper hand, it also puts you in a weaker position. Women are instinctively drawn to men who can handle ambiguity with composure. By not seeking explanations, you communicate that you don't need closure to move forward. You're unfazed, and that level of calm can shift the narrative in your favor. 3. She's hoping you'll validate her decision. Sometimes ghosting is less about you and more about her uncertainty or discomfort. But deep down, she's looking for signals that confirm her choice to pull away was the right one. If you react with anger, desperation, or an outpouring of emotion, you're playing into her hopes. A calm, detached response, or better yet, no response, sends the opposite message. It forces her to question whether ghosting you was a mistake. A man who maintains his composure under pressure is rare, and by embodying that calm, you flip the script. Suddenly, she's left wondering if she misjudged your value. And that doubt can linger far longer than any response you could have given. 4. She's hoping you'll double down on effort. For some women, ghosting is a signal. It's their way of saying, "Show me more." Maybe she's unsure about your interest level, or maybe she feels the connection has lost its spark. Whatever the reason, ghosting is her attempt to push you into proving your feelings. But here's the catch. Overcompensating in response to ghosting often does more harm than good. If you bombard her with texts, calls, or grand gestures, it doesn't reignite her interest. It confirms her doubts. The better approach? Do nothing. Let her come to you if she's truly interested. Your restraint speaks volumes, showing her that your time and energy aren't freely given to someone who's uncertain about you. 5. She's hoping you'll respect her silence. Not all ghosting is malicious. Sometimes it's a genuine plea for space. Life gets overwhelming, emotions get confusing, and stepping back feels like the easiest option. In these moments, what she's hoping for is simple, that you'll respect her silence. But respecting her silence doesn't mean waiting around. It means acknowledging her need for space while focusing on your own life. By doing this, you subtly communicate that while you're open to reconnecting, you won't put your life on hold. This balance of respect and self-prioritization is magnetic. It shows maturity, emotional intelligence, and an understanding of boundaries, all of which elevate your value in her eyes. Now that you've got a handle on the first 5 signs, let's turn up the heat. These next ones will give you an even deeper edge, helping you stay ahead of the game and in control. Ready? Let's dive back in. 6. She's hoping you'll make a grand gesture. For some women, ghosting isn't about ending things. It's about testing how far you're willing to go to win them back. She may be hoping for some dramatic declaration of your interest, whether it's an emotional text, a spontaneous visit, or an over-the-top attempt to get her attention. This feeds her ego and reaffirms her power in the dynamic. But here's the reality: grand gestures rarely work. Instead of reigniting her interest, they often feel excessive and even push her further away. A man who reacts with quiet strength rather than dramatic displays projects confidence. If you want to make an impression, let your absence speak for itself. A high-value man doesn't need theatrics to prove his worth. 7. She's hoping you'll stay in her orbit. Ghosting doesn't always mean goodbye. Sometimes it's a way for her to test if you'll remain emotionally tethered to her even when she's pulled back. She might drop subtle breadcrumbs, liking a photo, watching your stories, or sending a vague message, just to keep you guessing. What's she hoping for here? That you'll stay close enough to be an option, but not so close that she feels pressured to commit. It's about control, plain and simple. Don't fall into this trap. If she ghosts, disengage completely. If she genuinely values your connection, she'll return with real effort, not breadcrumbs. Until then, focus on yourself and let her realize what she's missing. 8. She's hoping you'll feel the loss. Ghosting can also be a calculated move to create emotional distance. By cutting off communication, she's hoping you'll sit with the discomfort of her absence and realize what you've lost. This is especially common if she feels underappreciated or overlooked during your interactions. How do you handle this? Flip the script. Instead of focusing on the loss, channel that energy into thriving without her. Post photos of you enjoying life, reconnect with old friends, or dive into your passions. Let her see, through subtle signals, that her absence hasn't derailed you. It's only motivated you to become better. This not only shifts the dynamic, but may also make her question whether she underestimated you. 9. She's hoping you'll give up easily. For some women, ghosting is a litmus test. It's her way of seeing whether you'll move on without hesitation or put in the effort to show you're still interested. If you give up too quickly, she might interpret that as a lack of genuine investment. But here's the key. There's a difference between moving on and maintaining your self-respect. You don't need to chase to show interest. Instead, let your actions speak. A simple, confident message, acknowledging the silence, like, "Hey, it seems like you're not interested, no worries, take care," can communicate both maturity and an understanding of boundaries. This subtle move leaves the door open without sacrificing your dignity. 10. She's hoping you'll learn something. Ghosting isn't always about punishing or testing you. Sometimes it's her way of expressing dissatisfaction without confrontation. She might hope that her silence encourages you to reflect on what went wrong and come back as a more self-aware version of yourself. If this is the case, don't take it as an insult. Take it as an opportunity. Think about your interactions leading up to the ghosting. Were you too clingy? Did you misread her signals? Did you fail to meet her emotional needs? Use this moment to grow, not just for her, but for yourself. Growth is attractive, and when you take lessons from experiences like this, you become a better version of yourself for future connections. If this video gave you clarity, hit that like button and let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your take. And don't stop here. Check out the next video for even more insights to level up your dating game.